morning everybody, welcome back to your Journey with Arrows. Thank you for joining me once again. We have beautiful weather, a massive contrast to what we had the other day with the chucking down rain. I'd like to say a big massive thank you to everybody that's joined the page. We've had a few new subscribers in. I appreciate you very much for clicking that little subscribe button. It really helps the channel, helps me, and it helps grow the community, so thank you very much. I can't get over how nice the weather is here today. Absolutely beautiful. So today we are looking at budget arrows for NFAS shooting, 3D shooting in the woods, and in particular today we are looking at Linkboys. So give you a nice better close up of these. These are one of their cheaper models that they do. Nice and simple. They do a couple of different style arrows, but today we're going to be using these. These are a 500 spine, 150 grain tips. The whole arrow for this bow works out at 10 grain per pound, which is comfortable for the bow that I'm using, which is not the Zurang, because as I mentioned before, it blew up. So today we're using the Imperial Keshig. It's 40 pounds at 33 inches. These arrows work really well with it. Let's go shooting. Our first target, just at the end of this lane. You'll see a few clips here and there of me shooting, and then we'll give a little breakdown on the arrows for you. Now, one thing I will note is that whereas my arrows are marked up red, white and blue for corresponding pegs, I'm not shooting red arrows from red pegs and white arrows from white pegs. Big spider, so to speak. So yeah, when you're seeing arrows in the targets, it's just whichever arrow comes to hand to begin with. I'm not, strictly speaking, following the colour code rules for arrows today on target pegs. It is what it is. We're out in the woods, we're having a good day, we're having a good shoot, and we've got some cheap and reliable arrows, and they shoot really, really well. This target I think is brilliant. It's all the way down there. Nice big L. So Linkboy is a company based in China, and obviously they make arrows. I think they make other stuff as well, but predominantly arrows. And they have a massive selection of arrows that you can choose from. For compound, for recurve, for traditional archery. They have a whole list on their website of arrows which you can choose from. And they're cheap and cheerful. So this particular set that I'm using here, for a batch of 12, as I mentioned before, there were 500 spine, 150 tips, white fletchings. You can totally customize your arrows and things. Obviously I've put some colour tape on the end of these for when I take these on proper shoots. Fully built up, 12 arrows sent to you, $60. By the time it hits you in the UK price, 50 quid. That's with shipping. I think I had 150 tips put on these, so they charged me like an extra $5, so it was like 55 pounds, $65 or whatever it was, shipped to my house, batch of 12, can't go wrong. Linkboys for half 24. Good line there from the one at the bottom. Consistency in the arrow. Now I can understand that Linkboys might not be for everybody, especially probably for those people that are shooting really high standard, maybe compound bows. I can't comment on their arrows for compound archery because evidently I don't shoot compound. But the good thing I find is that you can spend £10, £15 or whatever on what we would consider being a decent arrow shaft. And for this type of shooting where you're in this kind of environment, that's a painful and expensive loss if you lose an arrow. Obviously that's going to be down to your archery skill, and I would imagine, I mean don't quote me, but I'd imagine it's probably rare that a compound archer would miss a target, so to speak, based on the fact that they have all the aids on their bows to help them hit the target. But for traditional archery, at the end of the day, if you lose one of these arrows, which I haven't done yet, but I have lost other Linkboy arrows in the past, it's like less than a £5 an arrow. It's like £4 an arrow shaft, I think it is, and for the price that they're selling them built up with the points and the fletchings, you can't really grumble at it at the end of the day. Once you've got an arrow that's tuned to your bow as well, they fly really well. You know, get your arrow weight right, get your arrow spine right for your bow. That shot's just been taken from the other side of these trees here. I'm just walking to the target now. This is my first arrow on this target. Can't complain at that. Can't complain at that. Shot from all the way up there that you've just seen. With all Linkboys. Linkboys. Absolutely love this shot. This is great. This is a crocodile over the pond. There he is. GoPro's behind him. First one, just over. A good line with these. This is my last shot. This is the shoulder blade, first one in the foot, so we didn't get the kill zone. But not bad grouping, good alignment. And that was from to the top of the trees up there. Now, I know I keep saying go buy Linkboys. Linkboys this, Linkboys that. I'm not endorsed by Linkboys. I don't get paid for doing this. I don't get a discount. I don't get freebies. Okay, so this is totally an independent evaluation of the product. And like I keep saying, for the price of them, and for the fact that you might smash them off a tree, you really can't go wrong with them. My other Linkboys literally are put through the absolute mill. They got absolutely battered, and they're still surviving. In fact, what I'll do to show you, we have a tree right from it. I will take a point blank shot at the tree and you'll see that the arrow won't explode. One arrow at a tree coming up. There we go. Straight bounce off the tree. My other arrows have been through far worse than 40 pounds of draw weight being thrown at a tree, but nock's intact, feathers just fine, shaft is fine, point absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that. Go straight back in the quiver. Now I'll go back up and take the shot from the target. So they do fly true. Now some back up there. This was a big massive tree that we just hit. Now they're not the fastest of arrows, faster even. Obviously the bow makes a massive difference on the speed of the arrow flight as well. But yeah, as I keep saying, for less than £5 an arrow, if you lose it or if you smash it, you're not going to be sulking into your bed sheets for a week because you've spent 10 quid and 15 quid and broken it or lost it. That's just one arrow. I've been out with people before now and they've lost 5 or 6 arrows. Like, it's 100 quid down the shitter, folks. Get some Linkboys. For a cheap and cheerful arrow, I don't really think you can go too far wrong with a Linkboy, to be honest with you. This is the bamboo wrap one. They do a wood grain wrap as well, which is the ones you will have seen in all my other videos. So all the competitions that I've entered before and got medals for have been shooting Linkboys. These are, as I mentioned, a 500 spine. I think there were 450 grain, just over in total. Just a really basic, simple arrow. And like I say, for what worked out about £50, £55 for a batch of 12 carbon arrows, you can't really go wrong with them. And I've absolutely hammered these, especially my other ones. I've ricocheted them off trees and they're also standing. They've not blown up, they've not split. You can replace the nocks. These are the nocks that they come with that are on there. Personally, I prefer Vermel's nocks, so I'm going to be changing these. But they work just as fine. I mean, if I'm going to be really picky, the only thing I dislike, and it doesn't make any issue, it doesn't make any difference in regard to flight, is this bit here. So where we would have the binding, there's almost like, in the close, it looks like shrink plastic, or like it's like a rubber airline type thing that's been heated and pulled in, which is brilliant. I mean, it stops the arrows stops the fletchings from being caught, and it's going to probably last indefinitely longer than like a silk thread would. But I might change that over time. But for the arrow shaft, you really can't go wrong with them. It's cheap and it's cheerful. If you lose it in the woods, it's not the end of the day. It's £4. It's probably going to turn up at some point, and if it doesn't, it's £4. You've not spent 10, 15 pounds on an arrow and lost it. Now obviously I make arrows as well. I make wooden arrows, and it's heartbreaking when you've put a load of time into building wooden arrows and then you ricochet off a tree, or you lose it and it rots, and or like I say, if it smashes off a tree. But that's part and parcel with wooden arrows. You take that on the chin when you buy wooden arrows or when you make wooden arrows. But for 3D shooting in the woods, you want something reliable, something sturdy, something cheap that you're not going to be literally throwing money away if you lose it. Linkboys, £4. I'll put the link to the website in the comments below. And the really good thing with Linkboy that I found, they actually have a WhatsApp number on their website, so you can place an order through WhatsApp, through the website, or you can bob a message on WhatsApp and have a chat with them in there as well. All the heads are interchangeable. You can request different arrow spines, arrow weights, tip weights, and all sorts, inserts, you name it. Fletching styles, fletching colours. It's like a pick and mix for arrows. think you can go too far wrong with that. So it wasn't particularly far away. We only stood just at the bottom there where my tripod is. But yeah, I'd say that for any traditional archer, that's fairly consistent. Well guys, that's pretty much it for today. And shoot with the Linkboys. Good arrows. As it happens, sod's law, I've lost one. The very last target that you will have seen where the camera's on the wrist. It's about 60 yards-ish, maybe a bit further downhill, and misjudged the elevation. My arrow's gone over the target somewhere, so we had a rake through and I couldn't find it, but it'll turn up at some point. But it's 4 quid. I'm not bothered. It's not a 10 quid, 14 quid, 15 quid arrow or whatever that I've lost in the woods somewhere, so if it never turns up, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, good arrows. We've had them on the scales. They're all within about 0.3 of a gram between each other. They come in at about 27.65, which you can times by, have a look, you can do the value times 15.432. So in grams, you value in grams times 15.432. That'll give you your arrow weight in grains. So they come back at 426 grains, which is about 10.62 grains per pound for the draw weight of the bow. So 10 GPP, too many P's. 10 grain per pound. It's a good bow. It's good for the bow that I was using. So yeah, just a quick one today. Something a little bit different. We're not doing a bow review. That's to come still. There's a little bit of shoot that you've seen today, obviously, for the arrows, but we thought we'd do a review on Linkboy's arrows. So I'll leave the link in the description below the YouTube video for those of you that want to go onto the website and check it out. Like I say, at the end of the day, you've got to look at arrows as though they're disposable. They're not going to last for forever, even if they break or if you lose them. So I think it's important to get a good performing arrow, and one that's not massively expensive, unless you're made of money, in which case you might want to go spend £15 on an arrow. But for people like me, tighter money, 4 quid an arrow, it works, it's good fun, and that's all you need. So until next time guys, I'll leave you to it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hit that little subscribe button in the bottom corner so that you get notifications every time we've got a new video up, and feel free to share the video, and I'll just see you guys next time. See you later.